Hyper Masao's cape may be a liability. I am Chris with the Joshi Wrestling Recap for Tjpw April 29th, 2022, available on Stardom World. The build-up to TJPW's next big show on May 3rd continues. The card was headlined by a tag match between current Princess of Princess champion Shoko Nakajima on one team against Hyper Masao on the other, and there was a signature TJPW fun throughout the card. This was a multi-camera show with no commentary. The Up Girls started the show with a song and dance like normal. The opening match was a singles match between Tjpw and Yuki Aino. This match was pretty quick and another chapter in Yuki Aino's journey as a singles wrestler without her sister. As someone who is a tag team specialist, she is still learning the differences in tag and singles wrestling. Since becoming a singles wrestler, Yuki Aino has become more serious in the ring. She laughs and smiles less, and it does feel like her personality has become a bit muted. I don't know if this change is deliberate or not. As for the match itself, it wasn't that noteworthy. Both wrestlers played their parts. Tjpw continues to improve, and her distinct moveset helps differentiate her from the rest of the roster. Yuki Aino got the pinfall victory after a gut-wrench suplex was followed by the Venus DDT. The second match was a fun little match between Haruna Neko and Miyu Watanabe. Haruna Neko's wrestling has been slowly evolving. Most of her offense still consists of scratch attacks, but she has started to integrate submissions and counters into her repertoire. Meanwhile, Miyu Watanabe is having fun thinking of new ways to giant swing her opponent. Haruna Neko was elusive to start the match, refusing to lock up until Miyu Watanabe caught Haruna Neko when she tried to crawl through her legs. But Haruna Neko was able to get out of her bind with a well-placed face scratch. That was the story of the match, Miyu Watanabe catching Haruna Neko, but Neko would get out of the situation with a scratch or counter a hold into a pin until she couldn't anymore. Haruna Neko had escaped Miyu Watanabe's first attempt at a giant swing, but when Haruna Neko went for a head scissors, Miyu Watanabe grabbed her legs and swung Haruna Neko. After being giant swung, Haruna Neko didn't have much fight left, and Miyu Watanabe got her up on her shoulders and applied the Canadian backbreaker until Neko submitted and Miyu Watanabe got the victory. The next match on the card was a tag match between the teams of Hikari Noa with Nakakura versus the team of Arisu Endo and Rika Tatsumi. It almost feels like Rika Tatsumi knows my thoughts on her hip attack, and decided to do the opposite, and almost spam hip attacks this match. As for the match, it was a pretty simple story of when Arisu Endo was in the match, Free Wi-Fi, the team of Hikari Noa and Nakakura were dominant, but when it was Rika Tatsumi in the match, Free Wi-Fi was having issues. Arisu Endo did get some hope though when she connected with a dropkick and followed that with her cool hop-up top corner dropkick, then a camel clutch submission on Nakakura. But the submission was broken up by Hikari Noa, and after a miscommunication by Rika Tatsumi almost gave Free Wi-Fi an accidental victory, Nakakura hit Arisu Endo with her backpack stunner and got the pinfall victory. The fourth match was a singles match between Miyu Yamashita and Moka Miyamoto. It feels like recently Miyu Yamashita has slowly been changing her style to be more MMA-like. The kicks are still there, and there are more of them, and she has been adding submissions. Moka Miyamoto didn't really have a chance this match. It was the Miyu Yamashita show. Moka did show some spirit though a few times and did get some of her karate punches to land, but a high kick to Moka Miyamoto's head and an attitude adjustment got Miyu Yamashita the pinfall victory. The next match was a fun trios match. On one team we had Yuka Sagazaki, Mizuki, and Raku versus the team of Makito, Yuki Kamafuku, and Mihiro Kiru. This match had a bit of everything. Some high flying, some stiff strikes, some laughs, and some naps. The match started on a comedy note when Makito and Raku started for their teams. Raku started skipping around Makito, singing her lullaby, putting everyone to sleep except Makito, who screamed and covered her ears. Raku got Makito in a headlock and sung her lullaby again, but Makito escaped before falling asleep after taking a few steps. The Oishimiya Express followed with Yuki Sakazaki having a bit too much fun stepping on Makito. The match was even unless Mihiro Kiru was in for the team. At one point, Makito and Yuki Kamafuku were so disappointed with Mihiro getting beat up by Raku that they stepped away from the ring until the ref said they had to come back. There was one small thing I noticed though, and I need to keep an eye out for it, is Mihiro Kiru actually interfered in the match when she wasn't legal. This is rare. Mihiro Kiru's character is a stickler for the rules. The end of the match saw Mihiro Kiru against Yuka Sakazaki. It looked like Yuka was trying to put away Mihiro quickly with the magical merry-go-round, but Mihiro escaped and hit his spine buster on Yuka Sakazaki. A bit later, after hitting a brainbuster, Yuka Sakazaki got the pinfall victory with the Magical Girl Splash. That leads us to the main event, a tag match between the teams of Shoko Nakajima with Palm Harajuku versus Hyper Masao and Suzume. This was a preview of the upcoming Princess of Princess Championship match between Hyper Misao and Shoko Nakajima on the 3rd of May. This match was good, and with Palm Harajuku and Hyper Misao on different teams helped equalize the chaos. Watching this match, you get the feeling that Shoko Nakajima knows she will have to do some things she may not want to be victorious in her title defense. 2 times in this match, she used Hyper Misao's cape against her and was also ready for cold spray attacks. Shoko Nakajima and Hyper Misao are not strangers to each other. They have met multiple times in singles competition, and many times with weird rule sets. But as champion, Shoko may not be comfortable doing what she needs to counter the chaos of Hyper Misao. This match was pretty close between both teams, and oddly the teamwork between Shoko Nakajima and Palm Harajuku was better than you would expect. The action was fast in the end, and after Palm Harajuku hit an interfering Hyper Misao with the Palm to Justice to take care of her, Shoko Nakajima pinned Suzumiya with the Northern Light suplex for the victory. And that was the show. I would recommend watching the final 2 matches if you have the time. There will be a lot of wrestling soon, so much that I will have trouble keeping up. In Japan, the first week of May is called Golden Week, and promotions have wrestling all during the week, not just weekends. The next Tjpw show is on April 30th and will be headlined by a trios match with the champions on one team and the challengers on the other, before the title match is on May 3rd. This has been the Joshi Wrestling Recap for Tjpw April 29th, 2022. Thanks for listening.